I have to get the permission from the host. So I'm waiting.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
I'll be sharing it. Actually, till now, they did not allow me. Just now I got the permission. So you can see here, sir. So I hope my screen is visible to all.
Yes, madam.
So yesterday we completed till there, and now we are going to start with the political theory. So as I was saying, political theory means when the organizations are dependent upon the political parties or on the politics or on the government, then at that time, if the government is helpful, then there will be prosperity in the company also. The company can grow, the company can have certain diversifications and all. But if the government is not supportive, then the company is also going to suffer. So there is a direct link between our companies and the government also. So if the political parties are stable, if the politics in the country is stable and the government is stable, then we can have strong pressure and power on the corporate governance and see to it that in one country, the corporate governance is well prescribed, all the rules and regulations are being set, and there are minimum frauds indulged in that country. So for this, we need the backup from the government. So the government should always be strong. So that's what this theory says. Then moving to the next one. Next one is the ethical theory. So ethical theory says there is a problem with this page actually. So ethical theory is wherein if one company is going to follow the ethics, then the company will be in a position to judge what is right and what is wrong. So if the company knows what are the right things to be done in the organization, then obviously there will be some better practices and it will try to eliminate all the frauds that are going to happen. So all the companies should definitely follow ethics when they are going to start with any of these organizational matters. That's what this ethical theory states. So basically, we have to follow ethics in the organization. So that is the ethical theory. Then next one. Next, corporate governance excellence through corporate governance. So how one company can prosper when they are going to follow the corporate governance. So as we have discussed till now, whenever one company is going to incorporate any strict rules and regulations and see to it that it is going to minimize the frauds and errors that are going to take place in the organization, obviously the company is going to excel. So for that purpose, we need to transform our organization from a normal company to a status of a good company or to a great company. So that you can achieve only when we are going to follow certain code or practices given by the corporate governance. So this corporate governance, if you are going to follow it, automatically your company is going to excel. So what all we need to follow whenever we want our company to be in a good status? So these are the things which has been listed as a company's good corporate practices. So first thing is the monitoring of the performance. So how your company is performing, that should be continuously checked. Then next one, inculcate moral values and principles. So if your company is inculcating more of the moral values, when you are judgmental enough to know what is right and what is wrong, then obviously your company will be involved in only the good or the ethical practices. So that will enhance your company's goodwill, as well as it will give more revenue also to the organization. Then next one, fair and equitable treatment of shareholders. So yesterday we have discussed, like, irrespective of the shares held by the shareholders, whether you are a majority shareholder or a minority shareholder, equal treatment should be given to all the shareholders. Everybody should be treated alike. Then next one, transparency and full disclosures. So what is exactly happening in the organization, that should be given that information should be given to all the people whoever are related. So the term that we are going to use for them is the stakeholders. So all the stakeholders should get the full disclosures. Then next one, fair and equitable treatment of the employees and workers. So it is also obvious. If you want your organization to be in a better position, then compulsorily employee satisfaction and worker satisfaction is must. So you have to give good treatment for them. Then next one, internal control. This point also we completed yesterday. So when internally your company is strong, when you are able to check your employees and the work done in the organization, then only you can have some sound practices. So strong internal control will lead to minimization of the frauds. Then next one, safeguard the interests of all the stakeholders. So obviously it is going to be useful, like if you are saying to it that all your stakeholders are going to be satisfied, then your company will have more of the goodwill, more people will be interested in getting connected with your organization. So that will be overall benefit for the organization. Then next, reduce misconduct and frauds. That is the main intention of bringing the corporate governance also. Then next one, satisfied customers. So customers will be satisfied when the company is following sound practices. The next, corporate reputation we can get only when the company is following some good and ethical practices. And then next one is risk management. So lastly, when you are able to manage the risk in an efficient manner, then only the company can prosper in the future. So these are the things which every company should see that the organization is going to incorporate. So that is with this. Then next, moving ahead, we have various corporate committee models. So these are the various reports which has been issued. So I think some pages are so these are the various reports which we are having. So overall, there are 12 different committees on corporate governments, and all these committees and all these various reports have been generated, and almost all these reports are based upon the best practices only. And if these recommendations have been implemented in almost many of the countries and companies also. So we will see what all committees have been drafted on this corporate governance. So the first one is the Cadbury report, and this is one of the best recommendations for the corporate governance. So this committee has studied various things, and then this company report has been accepted by many. So we will see what all are the highlights of this. So basically, Cadbury committee was set up in May 1991 under the recommendation, under the chairmanship of Sir Adrian Cadbury. So he was the person who has proposed with this committee, who has come up with the various issues that are pertaining to the companies. And as I said, this company's report is being called as the code of best practices also. So in this report, he has discussed what is the role of the various board of directors, what all duties they have to complete, and what all are the various duties of the non-executive directors, how we have to give them these remunerations. And then lastly, they have given the recommendations based upon the questions that are pertaining to the financial reporting and financial control. So how we have to control and how we have to report. And when we are going to publish our financial report, in that financial report, what all aspects should be compulsorily given to the public, that they have emphasized. And so, as I said, this is one of the best practice, and this code was accepted in the listing agreements by the London Stock Exchange also. So after this, various committees have also come, but the main base or the main practices or the recommendations are taken from this committee. The next one is Greenberry Committee. So this has come in the year 1995, and it has come from the British industry. And basically, this committee mainly deals with the director's remuneration. So how much remuneration should be paid to them? What all impositions or restrictions should be seen when they are going to pay the directors? So as we know, like if they become the company director, they may demand how much ever money they want. So that cannot be done. So everything should be on par with the corporate governance code. So if you become a director, how much payment or how much remuneration should be given to you in a right manner has been discussed in this Greenberry Committee. And it has published its final report on 17 July 1995. Then next, coming to the Hampel Committee. So this Hampel Committee has given its report in 1990, and this is basically a kind of a revision of the corporate governance system that is going to happen in the UK. And what all recommendations the Cadbury Committee has given, almost in this Hampel Committee also, you can see the same kind of recommendations or the codings given in this also. So basically this and Cadbury Committee are almost having the same thing, same kind of recommendation. So in this committee also, in this Sample Committee also, they wanted to have a harmonized and clarified things that are going to happen in the organization. So how the directors should behave, what all financial reporting system should be applied in the organizations, that what was discussed in this sample report also. Then next one, next SOS Act, that is. So if you have the material, please keep it ready with you. My laptop is giving some trouble today. So the fourth one is Sarbanes-Oxley Act 2002. So this is one of the very important acts also. So this act has basically come to control the malpractices that was going on in the corporates. So basically the main intention of this is to have a proper control on the corporates, to see to it that there is a maximum eradication of the malpractices or the frauds that are taking place in the company. So this act was passed in USA, and the following are the provisions of this act. So first one, it says that accounting firms should be prohibited from providing the consultancy services. So once if you are deputed for one company, at that time you have to provide the services to the same company, and simultaneously when you are providing consultancy services to the clients of their firms, then there can be some kind of errors and frauds taking place. So that's why they have said that these accounting firms should be prohibited from these consultancy services. The next one is, if any of these corporate companies are going to indulge in any kinds of frauds, then at the time the corporate penalty should be increased up to 20 years of imprisonment, because many people, even though after committing so many frauds also, they come out on the bail. So if the punishment is strict, then there could be more of good governance. So that's why they have given the recommendation that it should be a minimum 20 years. Then next one, if the CEOs are giving any false statements, then at that time they should be given a fine up to 5 million. That is one more thing which they have discussed. And then they have said, like, whenever you are having any accounting profession, when somebody is taking up the accounting profession, then on that profession, strict scrutiny should be there, because these people can indulge in any window dressing, or they may indulge in any kinds of errors and misrepresentations also. So that's why you have to put a strict rules again on these professions and see to it that they are going to report in a fair manner. And apart from that, if you are having any accounting profession, then at the time these people should be having both disciplinary as well as legal power. That's what they have discussed. And the next one is The last one says, like, whenever they are having the company is being run, that company should be under the Securities Exchange Commission only. So that is the one more recommendation which they have given. Then next one is Blue Ribbon Committee. So this has been set up in the year 1998, and this has come up from the USA in the New York Stock Exchange Securities Commission. This committee was been set up, and the recommendations of this include the following. So first one is mandatory annual public disclosure. So compulsorily all the companies should disclose to the public the annual report. That is the first and the foremost recommendation. Then next one, clarify responsibility of outside auditors. That is, if you are an outside auditor, what is your role, what is your responsibility in the company, that should be given a clarity. Then next one, it says all the audit committee people should give the shareholders the various informations that are being expected from them. That also should be given. Then next one says, like, revise the definition of independent auditor. So yesterday I said independent auditor means the person who has no influence of others. So if you are becoming an independent director, whenever you are taking any decision, you are going to take up independently and nobody is going to influence you in the organization. So why independent directors are important is basically, if you are in your company, if independent directors are there, then only the company will be free from the frauds. So they wanted to revise the definition of the independent auditors, and they wanted to enlarge the independent directors' powers and see to it that they are able to get full independence. Then next one, independent audit committee, like how independent director should be there, in the same manner, independent audit committee should also be there. Because again, if the auditor is under the influence of the management, then the audit report will not be correct. So that's why even the auditor or the audit committee should also be independent. Then next one, mandate minimum audit committee size. So how many people should be there in your audit committee? And financial literacy. So how far all the people are aware with the various principles or the policies, that also should be checked. Then next one is require outside auditor to discuss the quality of financial reporting. So once you are disclosing your financial reporting, you are taking the opinion from the outside auditors also regarding the quality of the financial reporting, so that we can know how our company is performing. And then last one is mandate interim review of quarterly financial reporting. So you might be aware, interim review is nothing but wherein we are going for any reviews of our company after some 3 months or 4 months. So whenever we are going for any in-between audits or any in-between checkings, then it is called as interim. So interim is in the middle. So in the middle of the financial year, if you are going for any review of that, you will know what is the status of your company. So these are the various recommendations which has been given by Blue Ribbon Committee. Then next, coming to the King Committee. So King Committee, this is the recommendations given from the country of South Africa. So they have in the material they have given 3 recommendations, but as far as till now there are actually 4 recommendations. One more amendment is also there. So under King 4 also we have one more recommendations or the amendments that has been made to the main King Committee. So this has come in the year 1993. And then, as I said, this is in the country South Africa, and the person who has drafted under the chairmanship was a retired judge. His name is Mervyn E. King. So under his guidance, actually, this King Committee has been drafted. So we can see what all are the major recommendations that has been given by this King Committee. So first one is board of directors makeup and mandate. So how many board of directors you should have and what all skills or qualifications they should be having. That is the first recommendation. And then in that same one, they have included non-executive directors also. So as you all are aware, So in our directors, we will have independent directors, executive directors, and non-executive directors also. So how many persons should be deputing this non-executive and executive? That demarcation also should be clearly given. Then next one is maximum term of executive directors. So for how many years they can be in the organization, they can continue as an executive director. That is also given. Then next one, determination and disclosure of executive and non-executive directors' remuneration. How much remuneration should be paid? The next one, how many times the board should be meeting? What is the frequency of that? And balanced annual reporting. In your annual reporting, what all things you have to disclose, that is also given. And then next one is effective auditing. So if our auditing system is effective with internal control and external audit, then only our company will be doing well. So that is one more recommendation. And then last one is action programs. What all programs should be taken in your organization so that your company is going to have more of the best practices of the corporate governance. So these are given by King Committee. So as I said, he is a retired judge. Under him, these are the following recommendations. Now coming to the Kumar Mangalam Birla report. So this is from India. So under this report, so the various recommendations of this report are basically divided into two categories. One is the mandatory recommendations. The other one is non-mandatory recommendations. So mandatory recommendations are basically those which should be compulsorily implemented in the organization so that the companies could perform well. So first thing is, the first recommendation is apply to all the listed companies. So wherein if any listed company is having any paid up share capital of more than 3 crores and above, then these recommendations are going to apply. So in these recommendations, they have given what should be the composition of the board. So how many members should your board consisting of, and how many executive directors should be there, and how many non-executive directors should be there. Then next one, when you are drafting an independent audit committee also, in that audit committee also, how many people should be there, and then your audit committee, at least they have given a recommendation that at least 3 minimum independent directors are going to be a part of it, and then at least one person is going to have the financial and accounting knowledge so that he can make out whether the auditor, whatever report he is going to generate, whether that is pertaining to the various standards, rules and regulations. So one person with the financial and accounting knowledge is a must. Then next one, remuneration committee. So if for what kind of work, for which director or employee or CEO, what kind of, how much remuneration should be given. So that committee is also been set up, should be set up. Then next, they have given a recommendation like every time the board should meet at least 4 meetings a year. So that means quarterly, if we are going to meet up, then we can have a discussion on the various things like operational plans, capital budgets, results and all. So that is one more recommendation. Then if one person is going to be the director of the company, then at least he should not be having more than 10 committees. He should not be a member of more than 10 committees, because if the more and more committees you are getting involved in, the lesser interest you may have in the organization. So that's why they have imposed certain restrictions also, so that the director's mind will also be free, and then he will be spending some time in the affairs of the company. Then next one says, like, the management has to look into the various matters, like what are the risks or the threats that are involved, what is the internal control system, and what are the various opportunities that the company is going to have. So all that need to be checked by the management. And then last one is any other information that is existing, all that information which is of the material facts and which is of important ones, all that should be discussed with the shareholders with respect to their investments. So all these are the various mandatory recommendations from this Kumar Mangalam Birla. So that is the person. Then non-mandatory recommendations. So these are the ones which can be implemented, it is up to the company's choice. So what could be the role of the chairman? What is his role? What are his duties and all? Then remuneration of the committee of the board, how much should be given? Then next, shareholders' right for receiving half yearly financial performance, how you are actually dividing them and how you are paying them. The next, postal ballot, can the postal ballot be there? And then if it is going to be there, how you are altering in your memorandum. Then next, sale of whole or substantial part of the undertaking. So when the company is going to sell either the whole or some part of the undertaking, then at the time, what all rules and what all revelations should be done in your meetings and to the shareholders, that also is being given as a part of the recommendation. Then next is corporate restructuring. So when you are going for your company's restructuring, that is, it could be internal reconstruction, restructuring or external restructuring. So that is with your shares or with your externally when you are going to merge with any other company also, at the time what all the rules and regulations you are going to follow. So that is one more recommendation. The next, further issue of capital. So when you are going to issue more capital, at the time what are the rules? And then last one is venturing into new businesses. So when we are going to start with the new ventures, at the time how the company should take up the things. So all these are the various non-mandatory recommendations. So these are left to the company's choice only. The next, CIA Task Force Committee. So yesterday we have discussed CIA, isn't it? Confederation of Indian Industry. So that has been set up and under the chairmanship of Naresh Chandra in February 2009. They have given certain recommendations for this. So in this committee, main recommendations include how many non-executive directors should be there and how many executive directors should be there, what all remunerations should be paid to them. And then if your company is going to have either a wholly owned subsidiary, then at that time, how you have to report that in the financial statements. So these are the main things that has been given by this CIA Task Force Committee. Then next one, Narayan Murthy Committee. So under SEBI only this Narayan Murthy Committee has been set up in the year 2003. So basically, the SEBI wanted to have more transparency and integrity in the market and in the company. So they have set up this committee. And then again, here also we are having certain mandatory and non-mandatory recommendations. So the mandatory recommendations include the following. So the various recommendations are, first one, so if the company is a public listed company, then definitely it should review its financial statements. So every time you have to go for the audit and then the audit report should also be published. So that is the main recommendation. The next one, if the companies are going to rise through IPOs, then at the time, how they need to disclose the information related to the use or the application of funds. So how much you have raised and how you are spending the money, for what purposes you have spent that money, that need to be there in your financial statements. Now coming to the non-mandatory recommendations. So non-mandatory recommendations include non-executive directors' performance. So if in the organization any non-executive directors are there, what is their part? What is their role? Then next one is training of board members. So what kind of training should be provided so that they are more inclusive in the organizational matters. So these are the recommendations of this. Then next one, Naresh Chandra Committee. So this is one more committee which has been drafted. So basically by this time, 2002 and all, there were a lot of scandals that were happening in the economy, and then so many companies also collapsed. So even though we had strict rules and regulations of the corporate governance also, here they have listed one example, like in USA in 2001, there was a major disaster of the companies in spite of having the Corporate Governance Act. So that's why in our looking at the disasters that has happened in USA, our government of India has appointed Naresh Chandra Committee in 2002 so that they are going to examine and bring some amendments so that could be implemented in our country. So basically, these are more related to the auditor and client relationship. So the various recommendations are how the auditor and the company should be having a relationship. What kind of formal relationship should be existing? What all disclosures should be made? That has been given in the part of a recommendation. Then moving ahead, disqualifications for the audit assignments. So if and how, on what basis there could be any disqualifications on the audit assignments. Then next one, list of prohibited non-audit services. So what all are the prohibited non-audited services? That list is also given. Next one is independent standards for consulting. So what all standards you have to meet for consulting and what all disclosures. Then next is compulsory audit partner rotation. So as you might be aware, like after a few years, we keep on rotating our audit partners, because once, if continuously only one audit partner is there, he will be very much accustomed with our practices and all. So that's why it is compulsory that you have to change your audit partner on rotation and see to it that the new auditor is going to come and check your financial status. So that is also that recommendation has been given. Then last one is auditor's disclosure of contingent liabilities. So contingent liabilities also, you might be aware, contingent liabilities are nothing but which may arise or which may not be arising. So what all disclosures are compulsory with respect to the contingent liabilities? So these are the various recommendations of this committee. Then next one is Kotak committee. So the Kotak committee, so these companies, the main recommendations include the following. So as I said, we have to satisfy mainly the stakeholders. So stakeholders will be including all the people who are related with the organization. So this committee has emphasized more on various corporate governance practices that need to be followed by the listed companies in our country. So again, as a part of that, this committee has given a representation of the various stakeholders also. So the people who are connected with you, what all protections you have to give to them, and how you have to protect the interest of the shareholders or the stakeholders, and what all legal rules and regulations you have to follow. All that has been given. So overall, actually, this committee has given around 80 recommendations. So you can see in the last 3 lines. So this committee has given overall 80 recommendations, but then from this company report, they have accepted only 40 recommendations without any modifications, and 15 they have accepted with some modifications, and 18 of them were rejected, and 8 have been referred to the other agencies. So in this report, majority of the recommendations have been accepted with certain modifications. Then next one. So next is SEBI's report on corporate governance. So this is also based upon the recommendations of Kumar Mangalam Birla report only. So what all main recommendations they have given from this Kumar Mangalam report, some of the recommendations have been implemented by the SEBI. So mainly the things that has been taken up by SEBI are, first one is at least 50% of the board should comprise of independent directors. So by now you might be knowing the weightage of independent directors. So independent directors, if they are there in the company, then only the company will be free from any influence. So that's the main and the foremost recommendation which has been done by SEBI, like it should be having more of independent directors. Then next one is the company should follow the hierarchy. So the hierarchy will be based upon the managed by the board of directors and the managing director. Then next one is financial literacy. So if the directors are financially literate, if they are aware of the things that could help the company financially, then only you can call them to be your financial literate. So this requires, like, maximum directors should be financial literate so that the company is going to be in a better position. So these are the various committees that has been drafted for corporate governance. Now moving ahead. So now we have the various models of corporate governance. So model is nothing but what kind of structure you are actually implementing in your organization, so that you can see to it that the frauds are going to be minimized. Like, see, if somebody asks what is the kind of model or structure of our country, then we say that it is a democratic. So if we say China, it is more of authoritative. So like that. So what kind of structure you are basically adopting, what kind of model you are adopting, so that you are going to follow some good corporate codes or practices. So these are the various models that has been developed in various countries. So first one is Anglo-American model. So this model was introduced in the year 1980, and it is um, a kind of more of intensity of capitalism, we can say. So this model mainly emphasis on the capitalist nature, and this model says if the country is following the capitalist model of corporate governance, then probably the corporates will be working in a better manner. So if you are following some capitalist or authoritative thing in the organizations, then because of that authority or the strict rules and regulations, the companies will hesitate to indulge in some frauds. That's what this Anglo-American model says. And then this model has a variety of various things that are involved with this also. So the main things that this Anglo-American model has emphasized are, first thing is, when the company is related to all the people like workers, suppliers, managers, and community, then at that time we have to see to it that all these people are going hand in hand, and then all of them are being satisfied by the company. So you have to take care of all these people, and then you have to adopt a model wherein you are going to satisfy the regional as well as the historical conditions of the company, of the country, because all these shareholders are spread out through entire the world or entire various regions. So when you are taking them into consideration, you have to see to it that all the people wherever they are there, they are going to be satisfied and they are going to get the benefit. So that is the second one which this model emphasis on. And then the other things that are associated with this model, we can say, like because this was the time wherein the governments and then the countries were making into these kinds of liberalization policies and then globalization. So at the time this model has been adopted, and then almost all the companies reframed and involved in this LPG model, and every company was giving certain liberalizations, and these liberalizations has given all the companies much easier way to establish themselves. And then the various features of this Anglo-American model are, first one, so as I said, this model gives a top priority to the shareholders because they are going to be spread throughout your country. You have to satisfy them. And if they are satisfied, it will give more value to your organization. Then next one, this is based upon the philosophy of separation of ownership and control. So we see that the owner is a separate person and the control is a separate person here. And in this model, basically, we are going to see to it that the board of directors are going to choose the CEO, and then the CEO can also be serving as a chairman. And next we have the chief executive officer, who is going to be more extremely powerful, and then he is going to have all the actions and then policies required by the organization. So all that powers are being given to the CEO. Then next, the shareholders are going to elect the board of directors. Next one is the board of directors is a mixture of inside and outside directors. That is one more recommendation. Then next, the board of directors has the responsibility to govern the managing director. So always the board of directors have to keep check on the others whether they are exactly doing their works or not. Next, board of directors and CEO go hand in hand, and then they have to see to it that the shareholders are satisfied in the organization. Then next, this model emphasis on maximization of shareholders' value. So if you are satisfying your shareholders, then only, as I said, the company can grow. So they are keen upon the shareholder satisfaction also. Then next, this model adopts a disclosure-based system. That means what is happening in the company, all the disclosures need to be done to the general public or to your stakeholders. So if you are giving the information and the data to the people, then only your company can be transparent. Then next, this is based upon the market logic. So wherein they are going to see to it that this shareholder satisfaction is going to bring the maximum profit maximization also. And the last one, this model emphasis on the role of the capital market. So if the capital market is doing well, then the company growth will also be there in the economy. So these are the various highlights or the salient features of this. Now moving to the advantages. So for this model, the first advantage is going to be a clear-cut market. We will know how much market we are going to capture. Then next is increasing efficiency. This model gives us more efficiency because here we are going to have a board of directors, CEO, and then all the people are going to check the work of the others, and then everybody is going to act with maximum responsibility. So increased efficiency or productivity can also be there. Then next one, expansion of income, output, and employment. So as I said, this is adopting more of the capitalist nature. So wherein you are going to focus on the growth of the company and more of the authority we are going to use. So because of this, you are going to check or increase our output and income. And as a result, when we are focusing on this, obviously without employment, these things cannot be done. So we are focusing on the growth of employment also. And then last one, this model leads to more of innovation and cost reduction. Then last one, limitations of this model. So the major limitations are it do not consider any philanthropist or social responsibilities as its agenda. So as I said, when we are adopting this capitalist model, we are focusing on more of giving authority to the hierarchy-based system, and then we are following more of the rules and principles and seeing to it that the work is done properly. So we are not going to be very much liberal in this model because too much liberty or too much freedom in the organization may lead to lesser productivity. So here we are not concerned with much of the philanthropist ideas wherein you are going to be willing to help anyone. So that ideology is not there. So this is of a more focused model. And then one more thing here, the limitation is as there is a separation between the ownership and management, there could be a clash or conflict between these two. Because if the owner and if the management is same, then they will not have any conflicts because both of them will have the same intention. If both are going to be the same person, but because here it is two different persons, whatever the management says, the ownership people, that is the shareholders, may have any kinds of objection also. Then next one more limitation is because the CEO has been given more powers, this model has been criticized that because of more powers given to the CEO, he himself can indulging in any kinds of frauds, and he may have his own empire built also. That means he is taking money from the organization for his own benefit. So that also can happen. And then last one, more of income inequalities among the countries, because one country may be growing and the other countries may be suffering because of the model that has been adopted by the companies. So these are the various features under this. Now moving to the next model. So the next model is the German model. So this German model system we can see both in the Japan and Germany also. And this model has fetched its importance basically from the time of the Second World War, wherein they were constructing the economy, and then at the time, lot of disturbance was there in the economies, and then they were trying very hard for the growth of the economies, and then stability in the long run was also not there. So at the time, this German model has been incorporated by certain companies. So we will see the features of this. So basically, this German model is a two-tier system. So here we are going to have a division of these two. So one is the supervisory board, which is called as Afristat, and the other one is also called as the executive board. So two boards have been constituted. The supervisory board is going to supervise all the things, all the people, whoever are there working in the organization. It is going to supervise, it is going to check the work of all of them, all of the subordinates. And then the executive board is going to execute the tasks in the organization. So whenever we are having a demarcation between these two, a lot of ease will be there, because the executive people are going to execute the task and the supervisory board is going to always check the work of the people. So as a result of this, there can be a free flow of work done as well as the supervision also. So it is going to be more kind of autonomy will be given, as well as the work will also be not going to be disturbed. So that model, in this German model, it is going to follow this kind of system. Then next point says, like, because we have two people involved here, one is the supervisory board and the other one is executive board. So there is a possibility that we may have conflict between these two, because always all the people will not think in the same manner. So the supervisory board, when they are supervising, the executive board may feel that they are going to supervise them, they are going to monitor them in a more strict manner. So because of that, clashes may come. Then next says, whenever any important decision need to be taken, then at that time, the supervisory board and the executive board has to go hand in hand. Both of them has to discuss, and then only they have to take any decision. Then next one says, like, whenever the board of directors are there, when they want to get any information, at the time they can extract the information from the external sources as well as the internal sources. So then next one is next feature is, whenever we are at the time, we may not always say that we are going to have a high turnover rate, because there may not be the things may not be flowing up smoothly. There can be some kind of operational obstacles that are going to happen. So because of which the productivity or the turnover may also suffer. So in such cases, both the boards have to again work together and see to it that they are avoiding these obstacles. Then next kind of feature is, so whenever any firm is going to have more than 5 of the workers, so if in the organization more than 5 number of workers are being deputed, then there should be a work council which is going to monitor them. Then next one. So next feature says, like, whenever any individual persons are there, all these individual persons, when they are not interested in buying the shares or stock, then at the time the companies has to see to it that they are more encouraged to hold these shares, because if more number of people are going to hold the shares, then only the companies can prosper. So that is also one more thing. Then next one, commercial banks holding. So if the commercial banks are going to hold in a large proportion of shares, then probably the commercial banks or these financial structures may get more of the domination or controlling powers. So because the banks are going to play an important role in all these organizations, how much the organizations can have, what all various issues that could be cropping in, that also should be checked. And then next one is strong personalized relationship. So between the banking sector and between the corporate sector, there should be a strong bonding. Next, systematic protection. So systematic protection should be extended to all the people whoever are connected with the organization. So whether it is going to be the lenders, shareholders, or employees, all the people should be protected by the companies. So when we make a comparison of Japan and Germany, in Japan, more of the institutional shareholding was there, but whereas in Germany, less of institutional shareholding was there, only 30% of the shares were being held by them. So they wanted to have more focus on the shareholding from the side of the corporates and the companies. Then next one says whenever the stock markets are not going to have more of the individual households involved, then at that time also we have to emphasis on this and see to it that the fear of the tax has been eliminated and more people are willing or more people are going to indulge themselves in the purchase of more stocks or shares. That also is one more feature. Then next point, emphasis on again performance and accountability. So if all the corporate companies are going to perform well and if they are going to take the accountability, then probably there could be a growth in the corporate or the companies. And then lastly, it says like in the long run, if you want to achieve any profits or if you want to achieve any stability for the organization, then at that time definitely we have to take certain long run objectives. We have to emphasis on the research and development, and we have to see to it that there is an overall infrastructural development and industrial growth, so that whatever is the goal of the government or of the company, that it has to establish itself in the long run, that should be completed. So these are the various things that has been discussed in the German model. So I will stop for today till here. So from tomorrow we will complete from these contemporary challenges. Okay. So anything anybody want to ask? You can ask. 1 more minute we have.
There's just 1 minute. Ma'am, I have one question.
Yes.
I know it is not related right now about the subject what you are teaching, but I need some help from you.
Okay.
Been asked to submit online submission for the 3rd term semester. Ma'am, we already submitted hard copy in month of January to the college where we study. Okay, like our center.
Okay.
So do we need to again submit online, because it's little confusing? We are asking, going to the center also, but nobody is giving a response on this.
What you have submitted already?
Yeah, we all of actually they gave a last date where we have submitted in our study center.
Assignments you are asking?
Yes, ma'am. 3rd sem
Okay.
assignments, and we were waiting actually for the exam dates, but it got delayed, and we just got that next month we have our exams, right?
Okay.
Now again they are saying we need to submit online also.
Okay.
We are not sure now why it is not been accepted hard copy which we already submitted.
Okay.
You
I'll
have
just
any,
find out and then I'll inform you because.
ma'am? Can you please, ma'am? Because if tomorrow's class, if you can just hint us what to do, because we already submitted one assignment which we did for second and first sem also, and we got our marks reflected in our memos which were put on the website. But 3rd semester we already submitted hard copy. Now again it was being told to submit the soft copy in a
Okay.
website.
Sure. I will find out and then I will let you know tomorrow.
Please, ma'am. Thank you. That will be a great help. Thank you, ma'am.
Okay. Okay.